the mystery of Luke 11. And for some, this is going to sound pretty close to blasphemy because of how I see something that has been said by the Messiah. So I'm trying to be very careful here. But what he is doing in Luke 11, right around the 50th verse, is he's talking to the Pharisees and blaming them and putting the blame on that generation for all the deaths at all time. And so a tremendous amount of blame is falling at their feet. But here's the interesting thing. In Luke 11, actually, let me start with verse 50 so you get the gist of it. Therefore, this generation will be held responsible for the blood of all the prophets that has been shed since the beginning of the world, from the blood of Abel to the blood of Zechariah, who was killed between the altar and the sanctuary. Yes, I tell you, this generation will be held responsible for it all. Who is Zechariah? And I think we're kind of fall into one answer, and really one answer only. He's the last person to die. He is a person who dies 1,000 years from now, which is incredibly interesting because what that is saying is that the Messiah has seen the book of life and has read it. He knows who comes in. Now, what's really interesting about this, and this is where it's really going to fall in the face of pretty much heresy, and I apologize about that from the beginning, but I wonder if he knows when the last person is dying, and only the Father knows the end time. I mean, it gives you an idea that the Messiah would know very close to that point, but doesn't know because the Messiah is not told him, or the Creator's not told him. Or, and this is also that possibility, and this is where it comes into that heresy issue, and I apologize about that at the beginning. Maybe like us, he's not allowed to know and cannot know. Much like before we were given sight by the Creator, we could have held the Bible all day long and we couldn't figure out anything. It's only when he gives you sight to see something are you allowed to see it. And maybe that is a mystery that he withholds from everyone by withholding that sight that is necessary for them to see it, even though they can pretty much lock it in very closely. If they know the last person to die, and they've seen when, they're pretty close. But again, the Creator, who is the most powerful entity out there, what he doesn't allow you to see, you can't see. What door he closes, you cannot open. What door he opens, you cannot close. Just an interesting thing. Like I said, some would naturally think of this being said as, Zechariah being the last saint would have been right before the Messiah died. But we don't have any indication of that. And it certainly seems to be, since that sacrifice that the Messiah did went forward in time and back in time, it covered everyone. So is he not mentioning everyone there? And I think he would be.